Hi there, Rick here. This is the trailer for the Photography Explained podcast. In this trailer, I will tell you what my podcast is all about and where you fit in, dear listener. Yes, you, if you want to, that is. Firstly, this is the intro to my podcast. Hi and welcome to, open brackets, insert episode number, close brackets, of the Photography Explained podcast. I'm your host Rick, and in each episode I will try to explain one photographic thing to you in plain English in less than 27 minutes-ish without the irrelevant details. I'm a professionally qualified photographer based in England with a lifetime of photographic experience, which I share with you in my podcast. Make sense so far? Well, I certainly hope so. So, why the Photography Explained podcast? Why indeed, Rick? Well, I started my podcast because I couldn't find one that explained things the way that I wanted them explained. Yeah, when I started the podcast, I aimed for episodes 10 minutes long because that's how much time I wanted to give to stuff, just 10 minutes. Now, I did that for a couple of years before changing the format, and episodes are now 20 to 30 minutes long. And it's been much better, I have to say, going a bit longer. I say the 20 to 30 minutes, but they're as long or as short as they need to be. I don't pad out the episodes. I'm not got a set time. I'm not restricting myself to a set time. I give myself the time I need to explain the thing I want to explain, so hopefully you can understand it. And to do that, I explain these things. Excuse me, you would have thought I got used to speaking by now, wouldn't you? But clearly not. I explain things how I would like them explaining to me, which I hope works. Okay. I started my podcast in 2020, blimey, and I publish a new episode every 2 weeks now. And my podcast, at the time of recording this trailer, it's been downloaded more than 50,000 times in 127 countries. Blimey, 127 countries, that's remarkable. And these are the numbers in November 2023 at the time of recording this trailer. Right, so Rick, who are you to tell me, the listener, this stuff? Well, first off, I'm a professionally qualified photographer. I know I've already told you that. I'm an associate of the British Institute of Professional Photography. I work as a photographer and I do other work as well. My podcast is based on my experiences and knowledge and not internet searches. Now, yeah, sure, there's some research into the stuff that I talk about because I don't know everything. But the starting point is what I know from, well, over 40 years of practicing, studying, learning, and indeed loving photography. I do everything on the podcast. I write the scripts, record and edit the episodes, and publish them on my podcast provider, Buzzsprout. And everything else that goes into keeping a podcast going, I do that as well. Yeah, it's just me. The good news is, I love doing this, so labour of love it sure is. So, if you want to find out more about me and my podcast, there's a website which you can find at photographyexplainedpodcast.com. I know, perfect, isn't it? So I don't just throw this stuff all together. So check out the website where you can find out all about my podcast and find all the episodes to listen to or to read if you want. Yeah, you don't have to listen to me, you can read it all. And while I've got your attention, I have another website for my photography business which you can find at rickmcavoyphotography.com. And yes, I do everything on this website as well. So all my own work, all my own photos. Oh yeah, one more thing which I genuinely nearly forgot, which isn't in my script. Yes, there is a script for this. You can sign up to receive a weekly email from me where I talk about something photography related that's on my mind that week. Now, sometimes there's a thing to it, sometimes there isn't, sometimes something completely random appears, but go to one of the websites, just fill in the box, give me your email address, I say thank you very much and give you something nice in return, and that's that. Okay then, one photographic thing. What does that mean, one photographic thing? Well, it's broad, it's not one specific thing. I mean, I'll give you some examples from episodes. What is aperture in photography? That's one photographic thing, isn't it? But it could also be something a bit broader, like how my one photo rule will help you take better photos. And that's the most downloaded, easy for me to say, episode to date. Or it could be anything in between those two extremes, really. It's whatever I fancy or whatever a listener asks me to answer. But no, I cover a variety of things in a variety of ways, which is just how I like to do stuff. I tell you how this stuff applies to you if you take photos with your phone, which is fine by the way, or with a film camera, which is also, of course, absolutely fine. And I also tell you what I do. I specifically tell you what I do as well. And there's some new stuff coming up for 2024 as well. Right, that's enough about me. Now, get your question answered. Well, how do you do this? Well, over to you, dear listener. Have you got a photography thing you would like me to answer? Send me your question and I will answer it in a future episode. Now, your questions are welcome no matter how basic, complicated or obscure, anything really. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There really isn't. But they do need to be photography related and they do need to help me keep my clean rating. Of course they do. So head over to the podcast website to find out how to get in touch, and if you just want to say hi, say hi. Be lovely to hear from you. I love hearing from my listeners and I reply to everyone who takes the time and the trouble to contact me. Okay, I'm done. I hope that's given you enough information about my podcast to make you want to listen to it. Take care, stay safe. Cheers from me, Rick.